Many maintain the opinion that the Bible is full of historical inaccuracies. However, throughout the centuries, passages in the Bible that were once thought to be myth or historically inaccurate have later been confirmed to be accurate. Below are just some of the examples of history and archaeology confirming the accuracy of the Bible. The universe was created. Prior to the 20th century, scientists were in a nearly unanimous agreement that the universe was eternally old, meaning the universe was never created. In the mid-20th century, one of the leading proponents of this theory was Albert Einstein, with his theory regarding a cosmological constant. In this theory, Einstein proposed forces which expanded the universe were perfectly countered by a force which kept all things together. The debate regarding whether or not the universe was ever created continued for millennia, beginning as early as the 1st century. Scientists, philosophers, astronomers, and the public positioned themselves on the side of a constant universe. However, the Christian religion and the Bible positioned itself on the side of a created universe. Thousands of years later, the position of the Bible was eventually confirmed when scientists acknowledged the universe was expanding from a point of origin and was never going to collapse back to its point of origin. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Genesis 1:1. The universe will end. Not only did the scientific community reject the biblical teaching regarding the creation of the universe, when they finally acknowledged the universe had a point of origin, scientists refused to acknowledge the universe would ultimately fade away. Several theories were proposed countering this temporary universe theory, including the Big Crunch theory. This theory proposed the gravity of the universe would slow the expanse of the universe and cause the universe to reverse its direction. The reversal would eventually result in a Big Crunch, when the universe would reconcile to a point of origin, resulting in another Big Bang. Eventually, the scientific community concluded the expanse of the universe was accelerating, with no sign of slowing. They also concluded the universe did not contain nearly enough gravity to slow the expanse of the universe and cause it to change direction. This ultimately resulted in the formation of the Big Freeze theory. This theory proposed the universe will expand forever. The stars in the universe will exhaust themselves, and the whole universe will eventually become a cold, sparse, lifeless expanse. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. Matthew 24:35. The earth is suspended in nothing. Many ancient cultures offered different theories regarding the position of the earth within the universe. Some proposed the earth was carried by God. Others proposed the earth was motionless and flat. However, according to the Bible, the earth sat in empty space carried by nothing. He spread out the northern skies over empty space. He suspended the earth over nothing. Job 26:7. The destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. For centuries, the scientific community assumed the story of Sodom and Gomorrah was a myth. However, in the late 1980s, archaeologists discovered the site of Sodom and Gomorrah, which included a mass, simultaneous burial. The site appeared to have been destroyed by volcanic activity. Then the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. Thus he overthrew those cities and the entire plain, including all those living in the cities, and also the vegetation in the land. Genesis 19:24-25. Early domestication of camels. For many years, the scientific community rejected the idea of domesticated camels as early as the time of Abraham, or Abram. However, archaeologists have since discovered paintings of domesticated camels on the walls of the temple of Hatshepsut, dating to the time of Abraham. He treated Abram for her sake, and Abram acquired sheep and cattle, male and female donkeys, men servants and maidservants, and camels. Genesis 12:16-25. The discovery of the Tower of Babel. For centuries, the scientific community dismissed the story of the Tower of Babel as a myth. According to the Bible, a society living near Babylon attempted to build a tower tall enough to reach the gods. God was so offended by this that he disrupted their progress by plaguing them with many languages, or Babel. Archaeologists eventually discovered a fragment of a clay tablet in Babylon, which described a temple atop a ziggurat, a tall tower, that offended the gods. Their progress was interrupted by speech made strange. But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower that the men were building. The Lord said, "If as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and confuse their language so that they will not understand each other." Genesis 11:5-7. Written language prior to 1400 BC. Many archaeologists dismiss Moses' authorship of the Pentateuch, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, because they believed written language did not exist at the time of Moses. However, they have since discovered examples of written language within Babylon dating to the time of Moses. Moses then wrote down everything the Lord had said. Exodus 24:4. The fallen wall of Jericho. Archaeologists were initially skeptical of the existence of Jericho, let alone the biblical story of the fall of the wall of Jericho. However, archaeologists have since discovered the city. Along with the city, archaeologists found one of the walls of the city had fallen outward, away from the city. When the trumpet sounded, the people shouted, and at the sound of the trumpet, when the people gave a loud shout, the wall collapsed. So every man charged straight in, and they took the city. Joshua 2:20. The existence of iron prior to the Iron Age. Archaeologists criticize the Bible for claiming Tubal-Cain forged tools out of bronze and iron, claiming iron was not used until the Iron Age around 1200 BC. However, archaeologists have since discovered iron weapons near Baghdad dating to at least 2700 BC. Zillah also had a son, Tubal-Cain, who forged all kinds of tools out of bronze and iron. Tubal-Cain's sister was Naamah. Genesis 4:22. The existence of certain musical instruments prior to 1000 BC. Archaeologists claim King David could not have played the harp, as he is said to have played in the Bible. Archaeologists claim the harp and other musical instruments mentioned did not exist at the time of David, around 1000 BC. However, archaeologists have since found harps, lyres, flutes, and double oboes around Palestine and Egypt, dating to 2500 BC. When the Spirit of God came upon Saul, David would take up his harp and play. Then relief would come to Saul, who would feel better, and the evil spirit would leave him. 1 Samuel 16:23. The existence of Belshazzar. Initially, critics claimed Belshazzar, a king of Babylon mentioned in the Bible, was a fictional character. Archaeologists have since discovered the Ned Unitas Chronicles. Within the Ned Unitas Chronicles contains the name of Belshazzar and describes him as leader of Babylon. King Belshazzar gave a great banquet for 1,000 of his nobles and drank wine with them. Daniel 5:1. The early existence of Hittites. Archaeologists once claimed the Hittites mentioned in the Bible could not have existed at the time of Abraham. However, archaeologists have since discovered hundreds of artifacts identifying an early Hittite culture dating to the time of Abraham. Then Abraham rose from beside his dead wife and spoke to the Hittites. Genesis 23:3. The existence of Edom. The nation of Edom mentioned in Obadiah was once thought to be historically inaccurate. Archaeologists argued Edom did not exist until at least the 8th century BC. However, archaeologists have since discovered ruins that date Edom to at least the 10th century BC, the time indicated in the book of Obadiah. The vision of Obadiah. This is what the sovereign Lord says about Edom. We have heard a message from the Lord. An envoy was sent to the nations to say, "Rise and let us go against her for battle." Obadiah 1:1. The existence of King David. Many archaeologists once claimed King David was a mythical character. However, in 1933, fragments from a stone monument was found in Tel Dan which identify King David and the House of David. The monument was erected in honor of a battle cited in 1 Kings 15:20 between King Asa and Israel. This battle was also once believed to be a myth. Ben-Hadad agreed with King Asa and sent the commanders of his force against the towns of Israel. He conquered Ijan, Dan, Abel Beth-Makkah, and all Kinnereth in addition to Naphtali. 1 Kings 15:20. The completion of a census by the Romans. Archaeologists and historians once believed the Roman Empire would not complete a census as mentioned in the Gospel. Today, however, nearly all archaeologists and historians are in agreement that Rome did in fact conduct a census every 14 years. Those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. Luke 2:1. Many of the cities described in the Gospels. The cities mentioned in the Gospels have been a point of controversy between archaeologists and Christians. However, many of these cities mentioned in the Gospels have been discovered and found to be biblically consistent. Below is a list of these cities. Bethany, Matthew 21:17, Bethlehem, Matthew 2:1, Bethphage, Mark 11:1, Bethsaida, Luke 9:10, Caesarea Philippi, Matthew 16:16, Cana, John 2:1, Capernaum, Matthew 4:13, Emmaus, Luke 24:13, Gadara, Luke 8:26, Gennesaret, Matthew 14:35, Gergesa, Matthew 8:28, Jericho, Mark 10:46, Nain, Luke 7:11, Nazareth, Mark 6:5, Sidon, Matthew 15:21, Sychar, John 4:5, Tree, Matthew 15:21. These examples of science and archaeology confirming the claims of the Bible is only a small sample. There are literally thousands of examples of the scientific community maintaining a position in conflict with the biblical account, only to be disproven when further study is conducted.